Dear friends, most people have a favorite and regular place to sit in church. And when the priest stands here week after week after week, he can expect certain people to be sitting in certain places. And what that means, I suppose, is that we are all creatures of habit. We like familiar places and things and faces for the simple reason that they are familiar. And it was this realization, along with the gospel text that we have just heard, that got me thinking. I wonder where Jesus might sit in church if he came bodily and visibly into this church this morning. Where do you think he would sit? Well, obviously, we'll never know the answer for sure, but the gospel text gives us kind of a hint. We find him in the temple, and we are told that he found a place close to the collection box so that he could watch the people as they dropped in their money. Now, in the Jewish temple, they didn't go around with a basket and take up a collection. There was a treasury, they called it, right inside the door. And when people came in, the first thing they did was make a contribution to the temple. And why would Jesus want to be watching people put money into the treasury? Well, for one thing, I think it means that he recognizes the importance of money. He was never prudish or self-conscious in speaking about money and material things. Almost all of his parables, when you think of it, almost all of his parables had to do with money or some form of material wealth. He told a story about a rich fool with full barns and an empty life. He talked about pearls of great price and treasures hidden in the fields, and he talked about wheat and vineyards and sheep and oxen, all those things that were a vital part of the economy at that time. If you were walking the earth today, and no doubt he would talk about factories and cars and bank accounts and stocks and bonds. He was never too spiritual to discuss material possessions, because I think he understood, as I think we do too, that money really it's more than money. Money is food on the table. Money is good medical care for your children. Money is educational opportunities. It's really like a little part of ourselves, our work, our energy, concentrated into a medium that we can carry around in our pockets. I once read a story, I don't remember, many years ago, I was reading about a biographer, and he was saying that when he does research on a person's life, one of the things he wanted to do always was to see if he could get their check stubs. And when they asked him why, he said, well, because you learn a lot about a person when you come to see how they spend their money. Well, of course, Jesus had that insight many centuries before that. He said, where your treasure is, there will your heart be. Find out where a person's money goes, and you will know where their heart is. People spend their money on things that they are committed to and in which they believe. And that would present maybe the question to each of us: what does our use of money say about you and me? When Jesus observes our use of money, what does he see? Someone once pointed out in the parable of the Good Samaritan, you have there, in the characters, you have three basic attitudes toward money. You know the story. The man is going down from Jerusalem to Jericho, and on the way he gets mugged. And a priest comes and he passes him by, and the Levite would be like a deacon in the Jewish religion. He passes him by, and then comes the Samaritan. And the first attitude toward money is the attitude of the robbers. And their attitude was this: what's mine is mine. No, got that wrong. The robbers say, what's yours is mine, and I will take it. The attitude of a thief, a robber. And second is the attitude of the priest and the Levite who just pass right by. And they say, what's mine is mine, and I will keep it. Not dishonest enough to start robbing others, but looking out for number one. But happily, there's the third attitude. The Samaritan's attitude was this: what's mine is yours, and I will share it. Now, it's interesting to note that Jesus did not call this man the Good Samaritan. He just said a certain Samaritan. But it was the people who heard that story who recognized the goodness of this Samaritan and the purity of his attitude, the nobility of his philosophy. What's mine is yours, and I will share it. And so Jesus praises the poor woman, the widow, because her gift of 2 coins says a lot about her philosophy of life. The correlation between giving and living, between what we do with our money and the type of people that we are. We are called to use money to further the plans and purposes of God here on earth. And, feed the hungry, give drink to the thirsty, educate those who are in need of education, visit the imprisoned, care for the sick, care for the stranger. All of those things are all familiar with us. And I guess this would be an occasion for us to ask the Lord to enable us to use our money wisely and well to advance his purposes on earth. Amen.